So always very happy to meet the devotees at Pittsburgh, and now one special thing that is happening is devotees from many other places are able to join in this meeting because it is cyber. It is a cyber meeting. It is online. This is called, we are together now in cyberspace. Although we are physically, as Hari said, I am in Providence. Well, that is not our true identity anyway. It is just a very minor part of our existence that I am body. No, friends. So, see, the body may be at one place, but right now, you see, I am meeting you all who are physically not anywhere uh, close in Providence. And therefore, this itself gives us the opportunity to see, to feel, and then to experience that we are not this body. We are not, say, whatever, 150 pounds of meat. Are we that? Yes, we are not that. So we get to see that in this context where we are all meeting. Any thinking person thus can easily realize this fact that we are not this body. This body is a tool that we use. But see, this is all, we are in cyberspace. And uh, this gives me a much a broader, much deeper, much more versatile approach to talk to you than even being in physical presence. Physical presence has, of course, certain advantages. I was telling to Sushmita that, well, this is not fair that I don't go there and you listen to my talks there. And you earlier used to, when I would go there with body, then my body was getting all nice delicacies to eat. And now that is well taken out. So that is the disadvantage of just a cyber talk. We will have to, improve the levels of artificial intelligence. Right now, we can have this connection only uh, with the sight and sound. That is, you can see me, you can hear me. But there is a lot of work going on to simulate all other uh, senses as well, so that I can eat also in cyberspace. Mm. I can say, wow, this tastes so delicious. I can touch also, and all these I can smell. All these senses, they can be actually basically simulated, just as we have been able to simulate vision and hearing. So anyway, till then, we'll have to, till the science progresses to that extent, we can just use this. And actually, mentally, our that capabilities always exist. Simulation means science just goes to a level where what our mind is already doing. For example, it is not that I have to physically eat some delicacy. I don't have to really eat, say, a dosa. If I think of dosa, already the taste buds, they open up. They, as it were, they sense it. So this is the exactly. what we are going to discuss today. When I was talking to Sushmita Di about the topic, I said that I spoke about it, this cybernetics. She said, "No, you didn't give a retreat on this." Yes, I did not give a retreat on this particular topic, sure. But in my various retreats there, I remember having broached this topic that it is psycho-cybernetics is basically cybernetics applied to mind, to psyche. And thus, it is by that proper application, we get peace in life. It is that is the whole topic that we get peace by what? Where is the disturbance and what needs to be, quieted? We know that it is the mind that has disturbance, and therefore, even if a person goes physically very quiet place, the person is not peaceful. Whereas you can be in the busy this place like Manhattan in the Times Square right there, and all noise you can imagine these days because of the pandemic. It is less. People are not coming out that much. But imagine a couple of years ago during such a warm summer Friday evening, and you have all elements of noise, and then different types of sights, different types of fragrances that can normally cause your mind to get more and more ruffled, more and more drawn into many of those things. But if a person who has the inner peace, then even there one can get into a peaceful meditation and samadhi. Mm. I'm not exaggerating, friends, at all. It is quite possible people have done it, and people, when practice certain disciplines, they will be able to do it. So it is an already experimentally verified as well as experimentally verifiable by everyone, that kind of a science and technology. First thing that we need to recognize in this, and we shall come to this again tomorrow, that the important part of this topic is getting peace of mind. First of all, let us ask ourselves, do we want it? Do we want it? The answer, I imagine, is yes, isn't it? The answer will be a very overwhelming yes. Is there anybody? I can't just imagine anybody would say, no, 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 I want to be restless. Everybody would opt for the peace. I want peace. It is the peace is what we want in life. In fact, I can put it that we want nothing more than peace. Anything else that we seek in life, but if it is not bringing peace, that does not become useful for us. We say, so no, I don't want it. I want peace. So peace is something that we want. Uh, is it okay? Are you with me till then? I hope you are. It is. You can, type yes. I I want peace. or I am with you, I understand, and so forth. Yeah. So it is because then that will make it more interactive. So it is, you have to help me, friends. Mm, It is, I am not giving any prepared oration. You are participating. Yeah, exactly. I read from Beth Willis. Yes, I want peace. Yes, Charles Feldman, Koel Ghoshal. Yes, Maharaj. Yeah, from, yeah. So all it is, you have to, join in the process. It is, then we can learn together. So, yes, yes, Raju Patel, very good. So, we all want peace. Thank you. I got it. There is nobody who doesn't want. Yes, Shiva Yogi, very good. Yes, we all want peace. Now, I will pose one more uh, very important question about it. In fact, more important, and that is that who is primarily responsible for getting it? Is it somebody else that is going to give it to us? Is it going to be my spouse or my child or my, say, parents or my friends or my mother in law? Who is going to give it to me? Is it going to be the financial stability that is going to give me? Is it going to be a very good health that going to give me? Uh, what is going to bring me the peace? That is another question that we have to think about. That although you will get chance to uh, ask questions, but I am using this opportunity to ask you, friends, these questions that one has to deeply think about it. They appear to be very simple questions, but they are psychologically speaking very important. And that is where we should be very clear in the answers in our minds. I'm not telling you to type your answers about it, but think about it. That is somebody else or some situation or uh, some other change in the environment, is that going to bring me or no? Don't have to answer, but think about it. Hmm. So we shall take up these things later. First, now let us turn to the first part of the title, that psycho cybernetics. Psycho here, I am taking this word mind to mean in a very broad sense. In fact, and let me be very clear in this matter, that the Indian psychology, or let us put it like Vedanta psychology, is far ahead in the understanding of the mind than the Western psychology. Western psychology has some very good components. I don't deny that at all. It is useful in many respects. But when one wants to go deep and probe certain very vital connections, like, you know, uh, what feeds the mind, how, and then the connection between the outer world that we speak of, and the brain, and then the mind, and then what we call as soul, and then the reverse, how this traffic between that it is the world that is outside as we think of it, uh, world and this deep inside what we call soul, how the traffic goes between them. And here you will see the Vedantic psychology is far deeper, far more versatile as well. And it has the tremendous efficacy to bring peace in life. Uh, the Western psychology focuses more on abnormal psychology. It is the abnormal in the sense that you go to a psychotherapist when you have a special problem, a pathology. It does not consider a normal psychology to be a problem as such. But Vedanta sees that uh, what is normal is not really acceptable, because in normal conditions, means normal in the sense what majority of the people accept it and move along with it. Mm. But that is not what Vedanta considers as truly uh, befitting our nature or our aspirations. So, therefore, Vedanta does not focus on a very small section of population who have the abnormalities. It focuses on the all humankind, including those who are called abnormal and also those uh, who think that they are normal, or even the society uh, treats them as normal. They don't need to go to a psychotherapist or a psychiatrist, and that is, but Vedanta pays attention to all of them, because as we saw, whether a person is has abnormal psychic situation, or somebody who in social realm gets called a normal person psychologically, all have this tremendous want. And that is peace. So, therefore, that which is being sought is to be supplied. Um, And Vedanta therefore treats this as a pathology that is affecting all human beings, and not only a small section uh, who go to psychotherapists. They should. I have nothing to, say against that. They should. But what about the vast mass of people who do not go to psychologists? What about them? Well, they are included. In fact, that is the major part of humanity. Uh, that is what Vedanta addresses. That they all have mind, and mind is the major instrument for everyone. And so we shall gradually see the various aspects of mind. Maybe we will be able to see that more tomorrow. But today, let us now turn our attention to this word as cybernetics. It is the word cyber is actually a Greek derivation Greek word, which means communication, imparting knowledge, information, and so forth. And then this word, cybernetics, was coined. Uh, Supposedly, there is, by Robert Wiener uh, in about 1948 or around that time, to uh, mean that how the information guided uh, these mechanical actions can be effected, understood and effected both. That there is the, you provide some information in the form of say an electric signal, and then that electric signal correspondingly commits some action, which again feeds back into the electric signal. So in a way, it is a circuit that feeds back into this system. I don't want to make it too technical, but you see, we use these systems after, even before the word was coined, we still use this system. And then it became more current in the field of the uh, missiles, guided missile technologies. Uh, in the World War II, actually Germany became pretty advanced in that field. That and then of course now it is so advanced that it is really unimaginable that how a missile that is you know fired to a moving object and not a stationary object like another plane and that is flying. A missile has to track that motion of the uh, plane in very speedy flight, and that plane is also trying to avoid the missile by making movements. So it is that missile is to be tracked. It is like we do, in the that children play like catch me, that kind of game. So one child runs and another runs after that child to catch that child. All of us played that game. And then the child who is running to avoid being caught makes uh, movements in such a way that it would be difficult for the chaser to catch him or her, whatever. And then the other person also is, that other child is also focusing how the movement of the first child, uh, that who is avoiding being caught. Now those movements are being seen by the chaser, and then that is giving an information, and then that information is passed on the limbs, like the legs, through a complex mechanism of brain and so forth. So it is a very complex mechanism. We shall come to that. That and then accordingly, the direction and the speed of the person who is chasing is changing, and then the eyes are every time tracking that where that person is, because as the one who is chaser changes, the one to be chased also tries to avoid, and so it is this kind of a game. That is actually an example of a cybernetic system, which appears to be very simple because we are familiar with it. There are many more complex things, many mechanical systems, like our heating and cooling system. And that is one of the great examples of this. That you see, we all want the uh, good moderate temperature where we are sitting. The temperature should be, say, 70, and we have a heating and cooling system. Now, there is in that heating and cooling system, there are so many components, and they are all connected and with a very complex electric circuitry. It is there is the sensor that senses the present temperature. So if it is we wanted 70, we have set the thermostat at 70, and if the temperature is 70, the system does not actually start. It doesn't do anything, except the sensor is active. Because like in summer, the temperature could go up, outside temperature could go, say, 90, 100. As soon as this sensor sees that the temperature in the room has gone, say 75, it sends the signal to the cooling system. Hey, start, start, start. And then the air conditioning system, it kicks in. And then you start getting the cool air blown in. And uh, when the temperature reaches 70, a little lower, say 68, then this sensor senses it, the system gets the signal that no, no, now it's enough, no more cooling. And thus this system stops. In winter, it works exactly in the opposite way. The outside temperature, say maybe uh, 0, minus, and then you want still 70 degrees. So there is the heating system that kicks in. Oh, it is not 70, so heat keeps on blowing in. Uh, and then as soon as the temperature in that environment is that 70, it stops. And therefore, this is a cyber example of a mechanical, electrical, and then the cooling and heating system that happens. In our body, all these processes, like our respiration, is a great example of a tremendously sensitive, efficient, and intricate cybernetic system. The respiration is the most important thing, that the oxygen has to be taken in, it has to get through the lungs into the blood, and then blood supplies that oxygen to all the different cells, all tissues according to their requirement. So it is again, imagine, every single tissue is kind of sending an indent to the brain. There is one governor, that governor is getting the requirement of every single tissue. How complex it is, imagine. So every single tissue has a requirement. Sometimes, they are presented collectively with the brain. And then accordingly, your breathing rate changes. For example, when you are running, mm, more oxygen supply is needed. So your breathing becomes faster. And then that all that has to be properly channeled, distributed according to the requirement. All tissues don't have the same requirement. Probably you can easily see that the requirement for in your visual organ, that tissue won't change just because you have been running. But the other, like your legs, your other those things which have been working, so there the requirement of oxygen will increase, that will be supplied there. And then therefore this sensing it and uh, changing the action of the body in accordance with that. And then again there is a feedback when the oxygen is uh, that enough, then it stops. Okay, enough. Now it is when you say finish your running and relax. Now you still have the cycle of throwing the excess carbon dioxide and so forth that it needs. So you will see that that gets all reflected in your breath rate. So this is an example of cybernetic system right in our body. All these things are very, very similar. It is the emotions also are very closely connected, very closely linked with that. So uh, the word psycho-cybernetics was coined by one doctor. He was a plastic surgeon, Maxwell March, and he wrote a nice book after doing lot of work, a lot of experiments, and also thinking a lot about it. He was a plastic surgeon to the facial scars, these that to be correct to correct that by skin or some such other modifications. People do plastic surgery, and he was intrigued because many people, especially of the younger generation, uh, they come with the feeling that they are not liked by others because their face has this problem. Their nose is uh, too big or too small, too tall or too short, or bent too much, and all that. And so they say that because of this appearance of mine, I am not liked by people. I don't get friends. And so I feel hmm, depressed. Hmm. It is. Yeah, many get into the depression because of this. We will get into the discussion of that later, maybe. But we expect to be appreciated. We expect to be loved. We expect to have friends, admirers, and so forth. For example, if I see that nobody is liking my lecture, it is such a bad situation. The life is not worth living. I will feel so depressed. Just a joke, friends. Yeah. But what I mean is that he would get such cases that where these young people would ask therefore a corrective surgery that change the appearance of my nose, nose or eyes or cheeks or whatever, so that I will feel more confident. Mhm. I will get more friends. I will get more appreciation. I am otherwise a very efficient, nice, good, intelligent person, except for this nose. Uh, I would have been a very popular person, but this nose is a problem. And because of that perception, they used to go to this plastic surgeon, and the plastic surgeon would do the necessary correction, uh, and then that's it. Job is done. But he repeatedly, very often he saw that this facial correction did not change the confidence level of that person for better. It remained same. Rather, it has become worse because the efforts have been put to make correction, but that did not bear the desired results. So, in addition to having so much efforts and money spent, the problem still is just the same. I still feel I don't get any friends. I still feel depressed. Still get the feeling that I am unsuccessful in life. Hmm. See, I am unsuccessful in life. So now, therefore, this doctor had decided to go a little deeper. That the problem, therefore, is not with the nose, but something deeper than that. The problem is in the mindset. And therefore, he studied that aspect. In fact, he paid more attention to the study of uh, psychology and than of plastic surgery after this incident. And as a cumulative effect of his research, he discovered what gets put in that tremendously popular bestseller book of that time. Uh, in 1960, he published that book. It became very popular. It is, and I got to read that book much, much later. Uh, but it was very impressive book. It is from the point of view of Western psychology. I would say it is a very important milestone to present these ideas that it is what is he calls as the self-image theory. Mm. Self-image theory. That you make a self-image of yourself. How am I? Like I am giving you a talk, but then this is, you see, again an additional advantage of this giving talk on Zoom, because when I am giving a lecture from podium and in sitting physically in front of you all, I don't get to see myself. I mean this body. It is you, those who listen, they too get to see, but not the one who is giving the talk. So, in this great advantage is there that it is the speaker also can see how terrible you look or whatever it is. So it is uh, the self-image we always carry consciously or unconsciously our self image. I am so and so. You may not talk about it always, but you carry it with you all the time. I am such and such. These are some of my strong points. These are all my weak points. Uh, I like this, I don't like this. This eating this keeps me healthy. Eating this is that hurts my tummy, and I become sick by eating this. This is all a making of this self-image, friends. That if I walk 3 miles, I start getting pains in my leg. It is, and this is the human capability of abstraction, generalization from the understanding of the some experiences that we get. We jump into generalization, and then that becomes my self-image. And many of such self-images are completely against the factual or true picture of I. This self-image one tends to paint very bad. Uh, the two things happen there. I paint my image uh, that ideally very good. I am like this and like this, and all these other people are terrible compared to me. I am so good. But uh, we carry another uh, image with us, which sometimes we speak, sometimes we just speak to ourselves. That uh, I am so bad. I failed. What happened was, yes, I ate something, and that at that time, my tummy did not agree with it. And so I make my self image. I cannot tolerate this. Mm. I do not probe the reason behind it. I just make a conclusion. And so I will not take it. It is period. I will not eat it because it hurts my tummy. I am like that. I am that whose tummy hurts by eating this. We make a conclusion like this. Uh, I try to do something and I fail in that. Everybody, friends, fail. I have not seen any person learning anything without failure. It is, I saw a very beautiful, very illustrative cartoon, a picture. Uh, Somebody sent it to me on WhatsApp. Maybe I will, if you want, I will try to forward to you. It is that success and failure. You get failure. Mm. And then one man was shown failure, another failure, another failure, another failure. A load of failures being carried on the head like that. Another person that arrange those failures to make a staircase out of those and climbed on those failures to get to the success. See, everybody goes to have the failures in life, but a good psycho-cybernetic system will make those failures as stepping stones for success. Others will carry that burden of the failures on head. And let us get it straight, friends, that everyone in life commits mistakes. Everybody in life and meets failures in life, and everybody in life has the chance to arrange these mistakes and failures in a way so that they become the stepping stone. And here it is the science of psycho-cybernetics. He said, look, examine. I failed once doing something, I failed once. I failed twice. I failed thrice. And then I write on my mind, I am a failure. I can never do this. Hmm. We tell ourselves, I can never do this. Hmm. Well, this is a big mistake we commit, that I could not do it at that time. Hmm. Fine, I could not do it. Another try. Again, I failed. But that doesn't mean automatically it is the chain of logic breaks here. It is the inductive logic, it is carried in the wrong way here. That once I failed, second time I failed, third time I fail, and thus I make a very tremendously illogical conclusion that I will never be able to do that. I am not fit for that. I can't do it. And then now you are carrying these failures on your head. There is that anecdotal presentation of that Thomas Alva Edison's experiments. Mm. His, although this story may not be accurate historically, but it tells a lot about his tremendous zeal, patience, and again doing the experiments. It is said that when he was making that gramophone, uh, that recording of the voice, the theory was there, of course, but uh, there are many things that one should note about this great person in many respects. That it is an inventor, a very good with the commercial angle to the inventions. It is not just a dreamy inventor, a very hard-working man, a genius. But that genius uh, did not depend only on the natural gift as such, but cultivated that gift to bring in so many very useful inventions, and then started a big business endeavor. That company still is there, GE, General Electric Company. So it is, uh, you can see in how many different ways he enhanced this uh, scientific and technological advancement of humanity. Uh, This is not a life story of Edison, so I will not bother you much about with it. But it is said that he was sure that the recording has to happen because there is this correspondence that when you speak, there are the waves. Uh, they will hit a diaphragm, and then they can be, the corresponding movement could be there on a needle, and that needle can make the marks on a soft surface like wax cylinder or whatever that will keep on rotating at a particular speed. And then, if you now reverse it, that track on the wax, going back to that needle, from that needle back to the speaker, getting transmitted through electromagnetic waves, and then it will become the sound wave. You can hear it. Even now, friends, in all the very advanced recording techniques, the main idea has just remained exactly the same as it was during Edison's time. So now they he started making experiments, and it is said that he himself sang there that Mary had a little lamb, little lamb. You all know that song. And now tried to reproduce. Nothing came. He didn't get disheartened after making changes, again making some, giving some more finishing touches, and again tried that. After about 50, 60 tries, he got something. So he said, hey, it is working. And then he developed it further. So uh, hundreds of tries have been given to get uh, that to a working level. Um, but suppose he had that attitude that many harbor friends, many not abnormal, many so-called normal people, they harbor this attitude. And I know many psychotherapists also harbor this attitude. A most illogical thing that just because I failed once, twice, thrice, I am a failure. That's a very wrong idea. I am not a failure. It is 3 times I failed, but every time if I see that each failure has taught me something. So we should take that lesson and adjust our system so that, and that is where the science comes up, making, that don't make a wrong self image. Mhm. A wrong self image then becomes the cause of our very self destructive, and in general destruction of the society too happens, a self destructive behavior, that a wrong image gets generated. It is across the spectrum. Age doesn't matter. It could be at a very young age, it could be at a very old age, that you develop a wrong self image. You see, it was a very new, innovative idea that Maxwell Maltz proposed, the theory of self image. So, because your self image gives you your understanding as to who you are, a wrong self image, a self image that does not correspond to what actually your potential is. What does it mean? Then your behavior becomes self-destructive. You don't want it. Like a machine, you find that it doesn't work, causes a lot of actually nuisance. You want to get rid of it. I told sometimes a joke that a man was driving a car, and that car was making all sorts of noise, was stopping, and again he had to get down and do something. Then it would start again, stop, and then start. It would vibrate and make terrible noises. So, uh, he somehow was driving it and came to a toll booth. And then the clerk at the toll booth, those were not the days of, automatically, you know, seeing the car plate number and then taking the money from what is it called, Easy Pass or some such. So, therefore, the money has to be paid by cash. And the clerk there said to this man, $5. He jumped out of the car and said, sold. Gone, because it is such a trouble. I am giving this example that our body, our mind, and this instrument is like a car. It becomes full of so much trouble. Our self-image tells it is terrible. I don't want it. I want to get rid of it. I am ready to even pay to get rid of it. Self-destructive behavior because of a wrong self-image. This person may not necessarily go to the level of committing a suicide, but will never be able to harness the potential that actually is there because of this self-image that it is I cannot do this, I cannot do that, I am like that, I fail always, nobody likes me, nobody loves me, and this person does uh, carries this burden. It is this problem that it is not really uh, answerable as such, this problem, because you are not trying to answer it. You already have assumed that that's it, and nothing further can be done about it. So now what is to be done there? Uh, Correcting this self-image. It is the most important thing. This self-image is to be corrected. And thus, everything will then change. You will start, that that bubbling with confidence, self-confidence. You will not get bogged down by failures. Failures come, what is there? Who doesn't fail? Who doesn't commit mistakes? Uh, uh, if you don't commit a mistake, that means you don't learn. Learning process requires actually committing a mistake. So, have you ever seen a little baby learning to walk without falling? It is not, the child has to fall. It is because that is what tells, there are those sensors on the heels. They send a signal to the brain as to how to put down the foot. If the very protective moms, they say, no, no, my child will fall, no, no. Uh, then the child will never be able to walk. It is very important that the child will fall, but that will send the corrective signal to the brain. I don't mean that the parents should not take care and let the child, yes, go to walk on a steep hill right in the beginning. No, that is not what should be done. But one should see that falling down once or twice or twice, you will see that the child gets the signal how to walk. And that is true with everything. It is, we get, this self-image becomes a very close box for us. And thus we get, uh, you know, uh, terribly pressurized by this self-image. We are held to ransom by our self-image. All our potential gets kind of locked because I am like this, I cannot do it. Uh, this has to be transcended. One has to make an effort to see that, and that is, you will see what a great opening it makes in life. It is that Maxwell Marx did not study Vedanta, but in Vedanta, these great ideas have been there all the time. Now it is already 8:05, so we shall discuss this topic tomorrow as well. Now, please let me see if you have any questions. And if I have this self-image, I will never be able to answer the questions. Then I will say no questions. But I don't have that self-image. Because even if I am not able to answer, I learn a lot from your question. Actually, that is why I like questions. Because that is a learning opportunity for me. I'm a very selfish person. I am not giving this lecture for just your benefit. There is something in it for me because your questions, and they give me an opportunity to learn from such learned listeners like you are. So please come up with your questions. We have very little time. We may not be able to take up all the questions. But then let me, somebody can email me those questions so that in tomorrow's class, I will try to answer them within the class. Yes, please. Namaskar.
Maharaj, there is one question from Charles Feldman. I have been, Charles, you can go ahead, you can ask.
All right. I have been having the problem with meditation that we discussed hundreds of times.
Speak a little louder, Charlie.
I have been having the problem with meditation that we discussed hundreds of times, whether I think of it ahead of time or not. How can I keep this from becoming my self-image?
Well, you have to make that corrective. I might have had it 100 times, but let me give it a try 101st time. It is, don't make a hasty conclusion that just 100 times, maybe after 10,000 times, it will be great. So keep on doing it every time you are improving. It is that is the important aspect of it. Do not get bogged down by failures. Don't make a wrong self-image. I can do it. Don't you see Charlie now, because I know him, a very wonderful devotee and a great volunteer. So many things that he told me that I can do it. He was able to do that. Is it not, Charlie? He was able to do those things which he cannot do. So that is how we, by change this self-image that I was not able to do, but then to further project it that I will never be able to do that, or I will not be able to do that. That is a wrong, illogical conclusion. You may say that I had problem 100 times in meditation. I can tell you, I have that problem, many such problems in meditation, 50,000 times. That is no reason to say that I will never get it. Every time I see that there is an education, there is improvement. So that is the answer to that. Please continue, dear. Any other question?
One question from Arundhati in Pittsburgh. How can one practice spirituality to have confident self-image?
Please repeat it a little louder.
How can one practice spiritually to have confident self-image?
Yes, of course. Tomorrow we will come to that, One can, not only can, one has to do it. Spiritual practice means the first point is the making the self-image right. I can do it. Swami Vivekananda, therefore, always said, he said it 1,000 times maybe, that have faith in yourself. If you don't believe in this God or that God, that doesn't matter. But have faith in yourself. That faith in oneself, one's omnipotence, one's inner divinity. I am divine. Arundhati, you must tell yourself that I am divine. Just this is a little bit of flesh. That is not I. This is God appearing like this. It is God appearing like Arundhati. Like you have in the wax museum so many statues. So each of them, like one is Roosevelt, wax appearing as Roosevelt. Another Einstein. It is wax appearing as Einstein. All are wax. So you can say that divinity is all that everywhere is. That divinity in one form is called Arundhati. I am divine. And so what it means is I have no limitations. I can do anything. It is I can realize God. What more do I want? I am divine. That is how one should see this. That self-image is the basic, most important spiritual practice that one should take up. Have faith in oneself. If you don't have faith in yourself, then faith in hundreds of Thakur Ma Swamiji will be of absolutely no use. So it is the self-image, self-confidence that is the most important thing in spiritual practice. We shall deal more about it tomorrow. Thank you. Any other question?
Maharaj, what is the name of the book that you were referring to earlier about self-image?
It is the name of the book is same. The Cybernetics. That is the title of the book. Was it that book that the people are asking about?
Yes,
It
Maharaj.
is
Self-image
available
knowledge.
on Amazon in various formats. It is by Maxwell Martz, Martz.
Next question is from Sushmita Di. We talked about failures. What about Sushmita Di?
Oh, Sushmita Di also has questions. My goodness. Okay.
What about having problems in life one after another? How do we keep our self-image?
Well, that is why it is exactly the question is the answer itself. Let me tell you this. I like to think about it always because it came from my guru. That when people asked him that the mind is so restless, how can we meditate? He said that it is like asking, I am so sick, how can I take medicine? Because the mind is restless, you are required to do the meditation. It is, there are so many problems, one after another. Every problem is an opportunity to bring out the divinity in you. It is every problem presents a new opportunity. It is to get more viveka, vairagya in life. It is an opportunity to learn that nothing actually belongs to me. It is every problem presents an opportunity. So that is where you have to tell, yes, I can tackle it. I can tackle it. This is not a big issue. I think of so many other people, and Holy Mother's example is the best. Who has, I don't know of any living person who has to face more problems at so many levels than Holy Mother. And yet, she had that the great self-image. So we should do that. There is a story that one man saw in his wife's pocketbook, his photograph, and then he was happy. Well, my wife carries my photograph all the time. Wonderful. And the wife tells, it is very inspirational. When I look at the photograph, I feel so inspired. And the man, became puffed up more. Wow, I have such an inspirational personality. The wife said that the idea is, when I look at this photograph, I see that if I can tackle this problem, I can tackle any problem in the world. So, this is, you can look upon Sushmita, all the problems like that. I am not telling about your husband, that is a different matter. Yeah, it is, yeah, he is really inspirational. So, this is how you can keep your self-image intact. I have solved many problems before. And this also I will solve. What is there? I am infinite. I am divine. And so forth. That is how one should respond to it. Any other question?
No, Maharaj.
Still
Not
have,
yet.
I think, no, we have exhausted time, but I have no problem. If somebody still wants an answer now, I can spend a couple of more minutes.
Nobody has typed, Maharaj. If anyone
Huh?
has, nobody has typed their question.
Okay, so we shall conclude with the closing prayers. ॐ जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः।
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Tomorrow,
Thank you, Maharaj.
tomorrow's
Thank you.
talk will be at the same time, but before going, if you don't mind, if everyone can turn on their webcams, we'll take a group picture.
How can I do that? I don't know how to do it.
Yeah,
Hey,
yes, turn on your webcams and
has turned on.
okay, look at the camera. 1, 2, 3. Just one more. Please look at the camera. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Good.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.
See you all
Pranam,
tomorrow.
Maharaj. See you tomorrow. Thank you, Maharaj.
Pranam Maharaj.
Pranam, pranam, pranam.
Pranam.